Today I present to you the Schönberg. I may be mispronouncing that name. I know it's got an accent over that O, and I'm not 100% sure how you're supposed to pronounce that letter with that accent. But this ship is the campaign reward for the ongoing November 2024 campaign. As usual, we'll run down the stats and I'll talk about how the ship plays, but keep in mind the stats that I give you are going to be influenced by the build. I've got Aiming Systems Mod 1 in the first slot, Propulsion in the second, Concealment in the third, and Main Battery Range in the fourth slot. And the commander is Eric Bai, with Rumble and Mordoff as inspirations. This build is mostly designed for the Elbing line, honestly. Elbing, Schultz, Merker. This is the build I use for them. And the Schönberg is kind of like those ships in the sense that it has 150mm guns, but it doesn't have the same spice to its AP. We'll get to the guns in a second, but to start off with, we've got 22,500 HP base. And that's before using an inspiration on the commander like William Sims. Obviously, I don't have Sims on buy, but you could put him on there and you could get a bit of a higher HP pool. This may be one of the highest HP pools for any DD in the game. It means you're a little bit more survivable. I've already mentioned the guns a little bit, but they are 150mm. There's only 4 of them, though, in single turrets. With the Eric Bai build, Rumble as an inspiration, and the Epic Battle flag in the 4th flag slot, we've got a pretty good gun range, 12.8 kilometers. It probably doesn't need to extend that far, but I like having a little bit more range, and it's going to come in handy, I think, as this battle progresses. The guns reload in 4.5 seconds. You can cut that reload down to, I think, 4.1 if you want to use the reload mod in the 4th slot rather than the range mod. Again, I just like a little bit of extra range. Turret traverse time is not too bad at 13.8 seconds, and the HE damage is 2200 with an 11% fire chance. That 11% fire chance is one of the highest fire chances for any destroyers in the game. I think it's rivaled only by the Schultz, except in the Schultz, you are going to be using AP a lot more than you would in this thing, because Schultz has improved pen angles, better pen. It has faster shell velocity too than this thing does. This thing is much more conventional in terms of main battery firepower. And I think the 2200 HE Alpha Strike is a good thing because this is German HE. And German HE has one good thing going for it, which is the quarter pen. You'll see that we'll penetrate a lot of battleship armor with these guns. We can pen at least 32mm. However, usually the trade-off for that on German HE is very low Alpha Strike. They pen a lot, but the damage that they actually do is anemic. Not so much so in this case with the 2200. It sort of makes up for the typical anemic German Alpha Strike. The HE feels fairly usable. Just ask the Nelson there, who is going to sink as our first kill of the game once we penetrate his bow with the HE. The AP, it does 3,800 damage, which is excellent. It certainly works well against broadsides, but it doesn't appear to have any improved pen angles. So I think most of the time you want to be shooting HE to light fires, then you can switch to AP on the broadside when the situation allows for it. It's not like the Schultz or the Elbing or the Merker, where the AP is going to be penetrating at steeper angles. It just won't. But if it does penetrate, it does do a healthy amount of damage, and it does it quite quickly. The thing also has torpedoes. I think we saw them earlier against the Nelson. There are 8 of them in 2 quadruple launchers. They reload in 90 seconds. They have a range of 8.5 kilometers, and they hit for a maximum of 13,700 damage. They're reasonably stealthy at 1.3 kilometer detectability by sea. The only real problem with them is that they only go 58 knots, so they're not the fastest torpedoes in the world, but they can do a decent job. AA, I don't even think is worth mentioning. When I was playing this thing, unfortunately, I ran into a number of Chikalovs, the new Russian CV, And, well, one of them was able to successfully drop me with his skip bombs and remove about 10,000 of my HP. I don't think this AA shot down a single one of his 6 planes, or however many he has, so don't expect to be defending yourself with the AA. Maneuverability, again, I'm using the Epic Battle Flag, which does offer you a little bit of a speed boost, so 37.1 knots by sea with that flag. I think fairly decent, pretty average for a destroyer, honestly. Turning circle is very good, though, at 690 meters, and we've got a 4.5-second rudder shift. And then the concealment with Bay at the helm, or Bai, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is 5.3 kilometers by sea. Now, we should also discuss the consumables as we're shooting at the Plymouth. I think I got lucky in this battle. As you can see, the Plymouth, the Georgia, and later on the Sinop behind them, they're all kind of paid actors. They are, for whatever reason, not interested in focusing me at all. They're pushing into my team's spawn, and they're, I think, shooting at the battleship over there. I don't really get it, but it's allowing me to farm a lot of damage with these guns, so I'm not going to complain. And there goes Georgia for our second kill of the game. But we should discuss the consumables, because there's some interesting options there. You'll notice if you look to the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, or mid-left on the screen between the HP bar and the compass, the consumable suite we enjoy. There are 3 of them. One of them is the trademark German sonar, of course. This thing has a longer ship detect range than most sonars out there. It's 5.6 kilometers, and it picks up torpedoes at 3.8. Again, my concealment is 5.3. The sonar, 5.6. That means we have stealth sonar. If there's anything that outspots us, we can safely pop the sonar and know that we will reveal it, which is why the other consumable you see is the main battery reload booster. You can choose either the main battery reload booster or conventional German smoke. But keep in mind, conventional German smoke is just about the worst smoke in the entire game. In the Schönberg's case, the consumable duration is 21.2 seconds. That's how long the smoke screen disperses when you press the button. And then the smoke screen lasts for 73.1 seconds, just over a minute, 13 seconds. However, it takes 228 seconds to reload. That is a very, very long time. These smoke screens on the Germans, they share the unique characteristic of not lasting for a long time and taking forever to reload. They kind of suck. But you can choose the main battery reload booster, which gives you a 50% reload boost speed for 20 seconds. The only other German DD that has that is the ZF6, which is an excellent ship. And we're going to use it to great effect here against the Plymouth. A good example of the AP as well. You can see it's not magically just demolishing him in one salvo like maybe the Merker would, but it is scoring citadels, and he does get a little bit of damage on us in return. A lot, actually. But, you know, we've got a big HP bar, and we take out the Plymouth for our 3rd kill of the game. I think playing this thing with the reload booster is probably the way to go. Sure, you could use the smoke and you could enjoy the trademark German smoke sonar combo, but I think to some degree, if your enemy falls for that smoke sonar combo, then that degree to which they fall for it directly correlates to the degree to which they are a potato. You have to mess up in order for the German smoke sonar combo to work. In part, well, in large part, because of the smoke screen itself. Again, it's a very crappy smoke screen. It doesn't last very long. So if you're an enemy destroyer, let's say, on this team, and you see me here in the Schönberg, you just need to pay attention to the map. If there is a chance that I'm in a cap near you or something, or if you spot me, and then you see me smoke up, well, then you simply don't push into me. You wait for a minute and 13 seconds before that smoke screen dissipates, and then all of a sudden the German DD only has the sonar going and not the smoke, so it loses its ability to see you while staying concealed. You simply don't push into German smoke screens. You can, in fact, wait, and then you can push in later when the German ship no longer has the advantage. So I don't think it's 100% necessary to run the smoke sonar combo on this thing. And in any case, if you're going to use Bay at the helm and you've got him up at rank 16, then you can enjoy a 5.3 kilometer concealment with your 5.6 sonar range, and you've got stealth sonar anyway. So the fact that it has a reload booster means I want to run it. It makes it a unique thing. And this game is pretty much wrapped up. It's not the most exciting game you've ever seen. We've done a respectable 133,000 damage, 3 kills, 2 fisting ribbons, always good. And all that's left is the Oyster Goatland, who is currently in the alpha cap. We're going to do some embarrassing attempts at blind firing him as we approach the alpha cap and completely miss. But regardless of what happens in that engagement, this game is finished. So, is the Schönberg a good ship? Well, I think it's a better campaign ship than the previous campaign, the Navarin. Navarin, I think, is boring to play. I don't really enjoy it at all. It's fairly mediocre. Schönberg is certainly not the best destroyer at the tier. I don't even think it's quite as good as something like the ZF6, for example. But I enjoy it. It's a fun little DD to play. It's a nice little gunboat. It's got this reload booster, which makes it a little bit unique. And most importantly, it's a Tier 7 premium, meaning you can actually earn credits with it, unlike the Tier 8s. The Tier 8 credit earning potential is just not there, but Tier 7, one of the most lucrative tiers in the game. So I like the ship. I think I would recommend it. We end the battle with over 3,000 XP, 136,000 damage done. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.